In the season/movie, we are shown the year 20. Humans have devised 3 ways to remain immortal, meaning they live forever. The first is cybernetically enhanced humans called cyboxes. The second is artificially intelligent beings called SINs. And the third is synthetic beings, which possess a degree of human consciousness. But they are also synthetic, so they are called hybrids, that is, mixed species. Now, whichever of these 3 technologies prevails, that is, brings everyone under its control, will rule the world. Then we are shown a spaceship called the Magino. It has been on a mission for the past 65 years. We see some sleeping compartments in which some people are sleeping, which is called cryosleep. Some people emerge from there who are called crew members. They had woken up to take a break from their sleep. Here, Captain Dan Stell says that the Cobbs is down and the lock files are corrupted. But it could be a glitch and you're burning a lot of fuel anyway, so I want you to shut down at least one system. A mechanic says, I think we need to get rid of one of the aliens you've placed on the spaceship. Or maybe all of them. But the security cyborg reminds him that these creatures are the main character of our mission. Our research is pointless without them. Next, we see a scientist feeding these strange aliens. Some are small, some are kept in capsules, but there are also some very large and dangerous creatures. All systems are checked to ensure there are no deficiencies. Now the crew can return to sleep, the same cryo sleep they took a break from. On the other side, we see a research facility on the ground called Neverland. She belongs to a corporation. There, we see a girl named Mars. Someone is teaching her about scorpions. But then a doctor named Sylvia arrives and announces that everything is ready. It turns out that Mars is ill and is being taken to the operating room so that her brain can be transferred into a synthetic body. The company founder says that Mars will be the first person to be transferred from a human body to a synthetic one, creating the first hybrid. Mars is then connected to a machine. She begins to experience memories of her childhood. As her mind transitions to her new body, she revisits everything from her childhood memories. After a while, we see that Mars is completely healthy and can do amazing things such as jumping from great heights. Now he's given the name Wadi, and most importantly, since synthetic bodies can't grow, he's already given an adult. But of course, his mind is still that of a child. Karsh explains that fake bodies can't produce the hormones that human bodies can, the emotions and the modes that humans possess. So, Wadi won't have any of those emotions anymore. Dr. Sylvia explains that more children will be arriving at the facility, and the corporation will have to help them with this transition. Once the children arrive, Wadi interacts with them extensively and shows them how strong his new body is. He even hangs them from his arms. One by one, all the children receive their new bodies and forget about their illnesses, as if they never had any. They are all named the Lost Boys. Meanwhile, on the Mother Geno spaceship, we see a strange creature fleeing in a ship. Chaos reigns everywhere, and as usual, the creatures who wreak havoc also start shouting "Shiv," and an alarm sounds. Morrow hides in the computer room and begins talking to the ship's AI. He explains that all the samples are gone now. We've lost them. Suddenly, Severy arrives and begins slamming the door. But instead of Morrow opening the door, he transforms his arm into a blowtorch, sealing it shut. Suddenly, a creature appears, attacking and killing Severy. Morrow tells the AI that all the crew members are dead. Then, the same creature starts banging on the door and breaks through the glass. Morrow tells the AI that the ship must crash into Earth as soon as possible because these creatures are our priority. Here, Morrow hides in a port. The alien enters and attacks the port, but to no avail. Morrow prepares to crash land. Meanwhile, we see Hermit arrive in a city called New Sam, run by the same corporation. Waddy sees him on a security camera and his story is told. He also works for the same corporation and believes his sister, Marcy, is dead. Seeing her brings back memories of his childhood. Hamid is on the rooftop, talking to his coworker. He suddenly feels the building shake, and at that very moment, the Magino crashes into the city with a massive explosion. Hamid and his team rush down to evacuate the people as quickly as possible without being trapped under the debris. They can be guided to this point. While the team is looking for any survivors they can rescue, they arrive near the ship. They enter through a hole that leads them to another hole. We return to Morrow, who uses his transforming arm to exit the impact room. He wanders the ship and finds bodies of True everywhere. When he sees Hamad's team on the security cameras, he calls the ship's company to stop them from doing this and warns them. Meanwhile, Waddy, who is watching everything on the security footage, suggests that we should send her team as well. Now, her team also leaves under Karsh's supervision. Meanwhile, on Magino, 2 members of our team begin searching for survivors. As the soldiers search for bodies, a leech-like alien emerges from the ceiling and tries to get into their shirts. Suddenly, Morrow arrives and takes the soldiers hostage. When Manya leaves, the same bugs crawl into the men's heads and slowly kill them by eating their brains. Meanwhile, in the science laboratories, we see Hammett and his 2 companions find a port filled with bodies. When they try to call headquarters, the radios become unstable. When Hammett looks at the dead bodies, he realizes they've been dead for 2 weeks. He doesn't notice that one of the bodies is also an alien. He goes into another room, where he finds dead bodies there too. Afterward, when the 3 of them leave the ship and begin searching the building, they are unaware that an alien named Xeromorph is following them. They go up the stairs, and then they have to go through a door which has a huge hole in the middle. Hammett's companion jumps. He reaches the scene, but is injured. Their next companion also jumps to the scene, but the floor collapses. However, the first companion manages to catch him. Before Hermit can jump, he sees something like saliva falling on his shoulder. He looks up and realizes that the ice is already on the roof. Hermit runs for his life and tries to contact the radio. A flashback is shown. It reveals that Amit had asked for a termination of his contract because he had to go to medical school, but he wasn't granted one, so he now has to work for 7 more months. Waddy is watching all this on camera, and when Karsh's team arrives, Waddy hears a strange sound that no one else can hear. When she hacks the security camera, she discovers that her brother is still trapped in the elevator, so she runs into the building. As she approaches, the voice fills her. Karsh is with her, along with the rest of the lost boys. As they enter the ship, they see that the alien plant is still stuck on the ceiling. There are bodies covered in blood everywhere. They also see a cat with an alien inside its eye, and the mini-alien escapes its body, taking the cat's eye with it. The same small alien moves forward and attacks a team member, but she stops it with her hand. They throw it onto a table, where it is caught on a tray. Karsh connects its body to the computer and discovers that it was a research rig. Hermit continues his research. He finds a man there. They go along and knock on the door of an apartment. A costume party is underway. Just then, a xenomorph arrives and immediately kills the man accompanying Hammett and throws him away. This activates the gun the man is carrying, causing the host of the costume party to flee in fear. But the door remains open, and the xenomorph crashes the party. It begins killing all the guests present. He picks up the body of the man accompanying Hammett and throws it at Hammett. The entire room is now filled with corpses. When all the guests are dead, the xenomorph kills them. The xenomorph then jumps from the balcony to kill Hammett as well. But then Morrow arrives and, using his electrical gun, stuns the xenomorph, followed by Hammett. When he reaches the elevator, he is surrounded by soldiers from the corporation who attempt to arrest him. Their argument gives the xenomorph time to reappear and kill them. He prepares to kill Mono, but hears some noises and flees. Karsh, on the other hand, is looking through computer files. He finds footage of some ape egg patches. He shares this with Mendy. He also reads that 5 undiscovered species, that is, species that have not been detected, are also arriving. Cavalier contacts them and tells them to send all the surviving species there. When Hammett awakens, he looks around. It looks like a very expensive apartment. He also finds a signed football. He begins to remember his childhood, and at that moment, Wendy finds it. She quietly asks him to come with her. The 3 of them rush towards the elevator, unaware that someone else is also present in the shaft. As they head towards the corridor, she reveals to Hammett who she really is. Hammett doesn't believe her and starts asking her questions about her childhood to see if she's really telling the truth. When she answers everything, Hammett starts crying and hugs her. Then, the 3 of them find an egg patch. Wendy starts hearing strange noises. An egg is slowly moving. Xenomorph also suddenly appears in the room and takes Hackett with him. Wendy runs after them. Herman is still in the shipping container. The xenomorph arrives and growls at them. Waddy and Hammett hear its footsteps coming from the top of the container. Waddy waits for a moment and, seeing the right opportunity, steps on the ceiling to inflict damage. It bleeds, and its blood is so acidic it creates a hole in the ceiling. The xenomorph then pushes the container, causing it to fall. Hammett can no longer see Waddy. The xenomorph moves toward Hammett, but Wendy hooks it from behind. She pulls him toward the door, and Hammett closes it, slicing the alien's inner lining. However, the enraged xenomorph pulls Wendy into the door. Hammett bites Kevlar to open the door again. The door opens, but he is shocked to see that the xenomorph's body is somewhat damaged. Here, Hermid and Waddy faint. After regaining consciousness, Hermid sees his shadows. Meanwhile, we see Morrow, whose brain is still connected to the computer. Karsh and Morrow argue about who the ship belongs to. Meanwhile, an egg opens and Morrow jumps out. Then, the corporation team arrives, picking up the Los Boys, the rescue team, and the alien symbols, and taking them to Never Never. While Celia works on Waddy to repair him, Gars becomes worried whenever he sees an egg open. One egg still opens, and he is dragged away. They realize that eggs only react when there is organic life in front of them. So, Kvaler puts Karsh in charge of the alien. In the evening, we see that Morrow has somehow managed to reach the city. He snatches a phone from a random person and calls the corporation's CEO. He tells him that he is the data, but not the creatures. But he plans he's working to bring them back, because that's what he's been working on all his life. We also learn that Morrow had a daughter. Meanwhile, we see Waddy regain consciousness and feeling better. However, he is still hearing strange noises, so he follows them. Meanwhile, in the lab, Karsh and two lost boys are dissecting an egg. They discover an alien named Facehugger, whose voice is so horrifying that it collapses. We see Hermit in the operating room, where one of his lungs, a kidney, is being removed, now preserved in a tube. Carr then arrives and drops the parasite into a tank so it can automatically migrate to the lung. Waddy tells everyone, "I'm hearing a lot of strange noises, and why is it only me who hears them?" It's as if he's trying to talk to the real Mungie. Cavillion asks her, "Can you mimic those sounds?" She does, and everyone finds the sounds very strange. In the lab, we see an eye alien kept in a glass case. A sheep is also in the same glass case, jumping on the sheep's head and instantly killing it by gouging out its eye. A boy named Arthur discovers the alien's presence, but he doesn't believe it. He suspects they murdered 6 children to create a hyper-advanced AI. Just then, Nebs arrives and says she's expecting it. Arthur explains that it's impossible for a mechanical body like hers to exist. Nebs says no, it's real. But Celia explains that it's impossible. Meanwhile, Keval tells Waddy that he'll send them home. But in return, Waddy must help them with zoomorph research because they let Waddy's brother, Hermit, live there. Later, we see Waddy go into the lab and repeat the same strange sounds so he can communicate with the alien and Hermit's lungs. Suddenly, a baby Semorph emerges from Hermit's lungs. But Wendy calms it down by making the same strange sounds and then manages to pet the baby Semorph. Cher watches from a distance. Then a flashback shows the Magino crew going inside their triode. There, we see them on fire, and the two-faced eagles have escaped. One has killed Captain Dunstall, and the other has attached its body to someone else. Morrow rushes to the infirmary and discovers that Runelf has indeed been killed, as some crew members, when they killed the face Agar, also spilled their blood on the captain's face.